Today's the day. The kind of day where you can be anything you want to be. And if you're a member of the Montreal Canadiens or the Tampa Bay Lightning, this is your opportunity. Yes, today is Game 1 of Montreal versus Tampa Bay, amongst a whole bunch of other Game 1s around the NHL. Boston, Buffalo, Utah, Vegas. We also have LA, Colorado, for whatever goodness forsaken reason. This game is going to start at 3 p.m. Eastern, so 12 p.m. at noon here on Sunday. But we got to talk about Montreal and Tampa. And don't worry, we will get into the game after it concludes. I plan to do a regular post-game video. I plan to watch the game, of course. But heading into today's Game 1 festivities, which will be held in Amalie Arena in Tampa Bay, Florida, I wanted to talk about one of the legends that is going to be suiting up in this series. You know him from his time with the Canadiens in 2021. You know him for his time consistently making Stanley Cup Finals and losing every single time. It's Corey Perry, a guy who, as we always have to mention, he does have a Stanley Cup. He did win the Cup with the Ducks all the way back in 2007, back when he was a lot younger than he is right now. But Corey Perry, after having multiple All-Star-worthy seasons, he had a 50-goal, 98-point year in 2011, which allowed him to steal the Hart Trophy over Daniel Sedin. And then this run that he had where he made the finals with Dallas and lost to Tampa, made the finals with Montreal and then lost to Tampa, made the finals with Tampa and then lost to Colorado, didn't make the finals with Chicago because there were some issues there. But then he made the finals with the Edmonton Oilers in back-to-back seasons too. So yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, the fact that this guy has literally gone out there and gone to the finals so many times in the past 6-7 years or so. Can he do it again? This time with Tampa Bay. But the reason we are making this video is because of what Corey Perry had to say about some of the Canadiens guys that he had played with 5 years ago and how they're looking today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Nick Suzuki, we're also talking about Cole Caufield, and this article posted on tvasports.ca that dives into how Jon Cooper is leaving nothing to chance. Tampa Bay Lightning coach Jon Cooper is recognized as one of the best in the NHL, and he demonstrated once again that he leaves nothing to chance on Friday during the team's practice. While the players were on the ice, Cooper showed them the different tendencies of the Montreal Canadiens, their opponent in the first round of the playoffs, on a giant screen positioned just behind the glass. "I've never seen anything like it," said Renaud Lavoie. "After that, no need to tell you. We're going to practice the things we need to do against Montreal," continued Renaud. That's why Jon Cooper wasn't exactly happy to see Renaud Lavoie there. He must have been thinking, oh no, he's going to tell everyone in Montreal everything that happened. Don't worry, John. We didn't go into the details. Now, that's honestly pretty funny when you take a look at just the imagery of Jon Cooper having a giant television screen bolstered up behind the glass whilst the team is practicing. I mean, this is the frame right here. You can see them all watching on the big widescreen TV what the Montreal Canadiens are doing. But with that said, this article also has the Corey Perry case written at the bottom. After the Lightning's practice, there was also talk about the Corey Perry effect within the team. The tenacious veteran demonstrated in the last game between Tampa and Montreal that he could stir things up and cause a stir, notably going after young Lane Hutson, a key player in the Canadiens' offense. "Corey is like having a player coach on the bench," Cooper commented at a press conference, adding that the skater, who will turn 41 in May, is intelligent and even cunning on the ice. Perry leads his teammates in the battle and is still capable of contributing offensively, the coach also praised. As for the person in question, he took care to praise the few players from the current edition of the Canadiens who were with him during his time with the Habs in 2021. This is where Corey Perry comments on some of these Canadiens guys. They have progressed so much, he commented. Nick Suzuki's maturity and leadership are what stand out. You could already see that when he was younger. And Cole is Cole, he also observed. He's quick. He's a true goal scorer. That's the kind of player he is. And these are pretty basic comments, I'm not gonna lie. It's not like Corey Perry went out there and had multiple soliloquies worth of pages to talk about in regards to Suzuki and Caufield, but it is a really nice sort of reminder to all of us that Corey Perry was a part of Suzuki and Caufield's first Stanley Cup Finals run back in 2021. Might I remind you, that season was a pretty big transition for Cole Caufield, who had made his debut with the Canadiens shortly after finishing his Wisconsin Badgers career. He then signed on with the Habs, had 5 points in 10 games, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's scoring 12 points in 20 games as the team makes the gosh darn finals. It wasn't even just Cole Caufield that was young and impressionable and making waves on that somewhat veteran-laden Canadiens team. Yes, it's true, you had the Webbers, the Petries, the Gallaghers, the Desnoyers, Ben Sherrod, and Carey Price, so a number of veteran-like names. Even 5 years ago, they were still veteran guys. But Cole Caufield alongside of Nick Suzuki were some of the young ones making their names known. And of course, how could we forget one of the biggest and most extravagant pieces in that Canadiens Cup run was none other than Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who was tied for second on the team in goals in that postseason run, most notably scoring the overtime winner to totally deliver a dagger to the hearts and souls of Maple Leafs fans after Game 6. Jesperi Kotkaniemi will not be forgotten, and I honestly have no doubt, if Jesperi Kotkaniemi was also on this Canadiens team, Corey Perry would probably find a way to compliment that guy as well. But alas, no longer is he on the Montreal Canadiens, and debatably, no longer are there actually qualities in Kotkaniemi's game that are worth complimenting. So, yeah, sucks to suck, Jesperi, I guess, but hey, he's gone out there with a Carolina team that's technically 1-0 in their playoff series against Ottawa, although Kotkaniemi didn't play. So, yeah. For what it's worth, I wanted to go over one more comment to end off this video. This is what Martin St. Louis went out there and said about facing his old team, the Tampa Bay Lightning, in the playoffs. I don't have any emotions attached to the Lightning right now. Zero. And you can say that's kind of the opposite of what Corey Perry was going out there and talking about. Not to say that it's a bad thing that Perry was giving some praise to Suzuki and Caufield, but there's a very different attitude, you can say. I'm just sitting here wondering how the Canadiens are going to fare with St. Louis versus Dominique Ducharme. If they do end up making the finals, what are the elements of the Canadiens roster that allowed them to get that far? Obviously, with Ducharme, there was a very specific game plan that he had for the Habs, and it ended up working, so that's how far they were able to go back in 2021. Martin St. Louis, we'll see what plans you got up your sleeve. With all that said, though, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Corey Perry giving some pretty big praise to Suzuki and Caufield heading into today's game? We'll be here for it. We're going to make a post-game video, of course. There's a lot to go over when it comes to NHL hockey these days, so pay attention to the channel. We'll have it all for you here. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on. And bye.